have your own laptop. Again, I've still got 3 of them over here, so obviously 3 of you have the Linux ones, and go back to your Windows ones after today. Okay, so this is a multi-part project. So the first thing was that you guys were assigned to do an MLA essay after reading why does it seem like this is small? Because it was small. Okay, so you were assigned to read these articles and reflect and do an MLA essay. So all these articles are embedded there. You had 2 classes in order to read those and to do your essay, plus a 5-day break between this class, 4-day break between this class. So you're assigned to write an MLA essay on your thoughts on Linux with these 4 points as you're thinking about it, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is upload what your version is today. That's not the graded version that you're going to get graded on. You're going to get graded on the final version that's in your blog, unless you don't even have a version today, and then that will affect your grade, obviously. But the point is for you to reflect on each other's writing and then to improve your own before you put it in the blog. So the first thing you have to do is go down here at the bottom and hit the submission and put yours in there so I know what it was to start with, okay? And what you had by today when the assignment was due, okay? So that's step number 1, and everybody should be able to get that done within the first 5 minutes, okay? So then step number 2, once you've submitted that, and you have to hit the submit to grade, once you do that, you should see this one pop up, which is the Linux versus Windows form, okay? And the objective here is to give you guys all a place to post it and comment on each other's things. Now this is the first graded part of it, and you're going to get graded on your comments to each other, okay? So if one of you, let's say Mr. Plankenhorn, says, paper's great, no comments, okay? And yet it's not an MLA formatted, and I've got some things here on the assignment. I'll kind of go over that. So this is the original things to think about on your assignment. This is straight out of the other one, okay? So the grading points when you're looking at, because you're both going to comment and grade them on a 10-point scale, okay? So number 1, is it an MLA essay? Number 2, did they respond to the talking points listed above? If they don't mention those things, you need to mention that you never mentioned that, okay? Because that's the point of grading. When we grade, we should be looking at the original assignment, yet not just saying, I really like that, that was nice, okay? So did they respond to the talking points listed above? Number 3, did they support their thoughts or position with any references to the articles assigned as part of the activity? And I said that when we were talking about it in general. You have all this information that you read. I don't just want you to say, I think Linux is better because it's really cool. Okay, you didn't support anything as to why you thought it was better. And I also said last class that you should read at least one Microsoft article because, and more if you needed to, because if at the end of this your position is, no, we should stick with Microsoft Windows 10, well, you should have some reasons why, and so you need to support those from somewhere, and that's why I said to Google at least one article on the other side of this position, because obviously all the reading was about Linux, because you guys haven't done Linux before. So, did they support their thoughts / position with any references to the articles assigned as part of the activity? And I should put parentheses or other articles if needed. Okay, so if Ian's whole thing was about how Windows is the bomb, which I doubt it is since he's a Mac user, but if it is, then he should have something that he read or that supports him. Okay. Your position is your position, but the whole point of an essay, a comparative essay, when you have other assignments to read, is to bring in those other positions into your article, which is why we're doing this. So if Ian's comments to Mr. Wellman are that, hey, you really need to have some outside positions, you have absolutely none on your paper, there's no references, then he knows he's got to add those to his final paper that he's going to work on to put on the blog. Because the blog one should be my original one. I'm going to take all these comments that my classmate have, and maybe, maybe Ian's is perfect, and everyone's like, good job referencing these 4 articles, and maybe Ian doesn't make a lot of changes. Okay, hopefully that we have at least one relevant comment for everyone to make changes. Okay, this one is really how this number 4 is kind of like how you felt the article was, as far as how well written was it. Did they try to convince you that the position was valid? I guess really that goes with 5. Did they actually take a position, or was it just willy-nilly? A lot of times when I give a position paper like this, students spend the whole paper telling me both positions and never tell me what their position is. Okay, so if you read somebody's article and at the end of it you have no idea what their recommendation is, because that was the point of this, which one do you recommend, okay, then say I didn't get your point. I don't know which side you're on, okay, because it should be clear, at least when you're doing an MLA essay, by the last paragraph. There should be some summative that says, I really feel like Windows 10 is better because, as I mentioned in the previous ones, blah, 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 whatever. But there should be some clear statement of, I understand what your position is, that's what willy-nilly means, okay? And did they convince you? Did they not convince you? Did they try to convince you? Because they should be trying to convince us, and that's kind of the point of the paper. And if you didn't do that, it's not a big deal, because I'm not grading you on this one, right? I'm grading you on the one that's on the blog. So if you're like, I didn't even say which one I really thought was better, that's what you're going to have in the blog. And finally, what suggestions do you have for them in the final draft to be posted on the blog? So the one I'm grading of yours is the one that's on the blog. Like I said, the initial, and the grade's going to show up on the initial one. That's why we still have an assignment, because I have to put the grade in somewhere, and I can't put the grade in on the blog itself. So the one I'm going to read is that one. So I posted one from last year or 2 years ago, and it says operating systems by unknown student, and I think you didn't see who the student was, but so this was what I would consider a poor essay. First of all, how many paragraphs are there? There's one paragraph. What MLA essay have you ever been assigned by any English teacher ever that was a one-paragraph essay? MLA essays aren't one paragraph, okay? I should always have at least how many? What's the minimum number of paragraphs you should have in our MLA essay? Yeah, 3, right? What's number 1? An introduction. Number 2 is, as a minimum, that's a really short one, is the body, and number 3 is your summary, your conclusions. Okay, so in no case does this fit into the minimum length of an MLA essay. Okay, so we always have an introduction. The body, minimum 1 paragraph, could be 7 paragraphs, could be 20 papers or 20 pages. You don't know, but there should be some kind of introduction, some kind of body, and then some kind of conclusion on here. And we've just got a big kind of run-on. Okay, so I like Linux Mint because it loads everything really fast. I don't like their Office programs as much as Microsoft because I haven't used it very much. I think that we should keep Windows on the school computers instead of Linux Mint because most people are used to Windows. First of all, by the way, what should Windows be capitalized? I've already read it how many times. Windows is a product. That is not a. We're not talking about installing Windows in the rooms, right? That would be lowercase. But Microsoft Windows would be capitalized. Okay, just as we're reading through here. Okay, I haven't used Linux Mint before because most computers come with Windows on them, and we just kept Windows on the computers. I think Linux Mint is faster to start on the E6500 than Windows 7, and all the programs on Linux Mint open a lot faster than on Windows 7. I forget how much space is left on both computers, but I know that Linux Mint uses a lot less space because Windows has to have more stuff in their operating systems to make sure. If I said a lot in this sentence, that's a run-on sentence right there. There's a lot less space because Windows has to have more stuff in their operating system to make sure that most or all device drivers will work for their operating systems. That sentence goes from here to here. That's a 4-line single-space sentence. That's a pretty busy sentence. Not to mention the fact there's a bunch of grammatical errors in there as well. I think the Linux Mint programs are usable, but I like Microsoft Office better because I've always used Microsoft Office. This is the first time using Linux Mint. I can do everything I need to do on both because you can make presentations, write papers, and make spreadsheets and get on the internet. Okay, so on some of those points, I could say that he hit it. Which position side is he on? We don't have a question on that, right? I definitely know that. On the issue of is an MLA paper, absolutely not. Okay. There is no introduction, there is no body, there is no conclusion. It's kind of all conclusion. This almost could be the concluding paragraph of a paper if it was rewritten. But other than that, do we make any references to anything that we did or that we read anywhere in the paper? No, we don't. Okay, so on these, first of all, nobody else can see it beside our class. Okay, and don't worry about Mr. Woman's feelings, okay? Because this is your grade right now, not his grade right now. His grade is how he responds to yours and improves them, okay? So down here, you're going to hit reply, and you should, if I did it right, okay, have the ability to both reply and rate, and I don't see the rating box. Why do I not see the rating box? I should definitely see the rating box. It gives it a grade. I did something wrong. I'll look at it here in a second and see if I can figure out what I just did. But you should be able to both put in your reply and rate theirs, and I don't see it anywhere. The rating. Does it show up someplace? Obviously, I haven't used this version of the forum since we just went to it. But I don't see anywhere. It gives me the ability to actually give them a grade. Where do I see it? Edit, delete, reply. Maybe I did something wrong here. Let's see if I can. But you should be giving them a rating as well if I can figure out what I did wrong on this. Let's see, ratings, average of ratings, roll expression to rate. You guys are all form graders on this point, 20, I said out of 20 points. Restrict ratings to in this range.
At this time, teachers, students should be making their ways to the classrooms.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Nobody here's a bus rider. I wonder if does Cody ride a bus? Dang. Oops. Okay. So why am I not seeing it? So it's going to average together everybody's scores. It's going to be a point value, and it should be out of 20 points. And yet, I don't see the rating, because I should see it. I should see it right here. Usually, we used to hit reply, and then we could. Oh, maybe it's because I posted it. Maybe it's because I posted it. We'll see what happens when you guys post to it and see if it allows us to rate each other or not. And then I might have to figure something out, because I should be able to do that. I don't see any point drop down. It used to have a point drop down on it. And then I wouldn't click here where it says send form post note with no editing time delay. It gives you a 30-minute delay to go back and edit your post by default. And what that means.
No.
Just you. Hey, we got started without you, so I'll put this back up here, and I'll put what I recorded here up in a second. So you guys go ahead and get started with that now that you understand what's going on. And